okay? So that's a real good technique at the end of an interview to say, are there any questions you'd like me to expound on? Is there anything I didn't answer satisfactorily, okay? And then the kicker, when you stand up to shake their hand, make sure you have their business card, because you want to send a thank you. You want to have the correct spelling of their name, and say, I am extremely interested in going to the next step. Can you tell me if you will be nominating me to go to the next step, while you still have their hand in their hand? Okay, look them in the eye. Can you tell me if you will be bringing me back for a second, or if you will be endorsing my candidacy for the next interview? And I have a recruiter friend in New York, and they're a lot more, you know, gutsy in New York. He tells his candidate, while you're holding that hand, if they say no, sit right down. Almost pull them down into your lap and say, well, then we have to continue to talk because I really want this job. Now, I haven't seen that happen in Philly much, but the New Yorkers are a little bit crazy. But the concept is, if you get to the gatekeeper, you want to make sure that you answered everything that they're looking for, okay? We talked about, you know, networking earlier. If you are not familiar with blogs and Facebook and Twitter, I'm not a Twitter person, I'm not a Facebook person, but I have embraced LinkedIn lately. Is anybody here who's on LinkedIn?
Love it.
Okay, anybody who's not, I highly recommend you go home by Friday, homework assignment, get a LinkedIn. You have a LinkedIn page, right? Okay. Get a LinkedIn page, it's free. Put some stuff out about you. And how LinkedIn works is very easy. You have 3 levels of contacts. It's almost like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, if you're familiar with that. My first level, I think I broke 600 last night, which is not, you know, we all know eventually we can get to that level. But the most important thing is, I really focused in on what we call connectors. My 3rd level, as of this morning when I came here, is 10.9 million. Okay?
What does all that mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah.
When you go on to LinkedIn, let's say this is your sister, you can say, hey, I'm on LinkedIn, I have no friends, no contacts, would you be my contact? So she says yes. She becomes a first connection. Now, if she has 100 connections, you are now attached to her 100 from what they call the 2nd level. And then all those 100 have a group. You're now connected 3rd level to all of them. So exponentially, you're spreading yourself way out there, okay?
The goal is to try and get over 500, that's preferred.
The goal is trying to get to 500, I'm at 601, my 3rd is 10.9 million. So I theoretically, if I have a job I'm trying to fill, I could contact my 601 in an email tonight and say, hey, I got this job, please send it to your network. If they do, there's a good chance 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 10 million might read my job posting tonight.
You still have to request to connect to the 2nd level.
You have to, well, when you get to your 1st level, you're connected to their group. If I want to go and, you mean, contact them directly?
Yeah,
Okay, well, I have, you can pay extra, okay? You can pay various levels of LinkedIn will allow you to go through. Recruiters, most of us have, but you could just say, if you're one of these guys, you say, hey, Dave, I want to talk to Philip, who's in Baton Rouge, can you connect me?
Not to get too deep into LinkedIn, but there's also groups that you can join
Yep.
that are in your industry. You can get around the paying part
Yep.
sometimes
Yep.
by looking up the name of the person in your group.
Yep.
And sometimes you can send them a message directly that way, then you don't have to pay.
Absolutely. And that's how they found me to do this. The Bucks County group of that Dale, who's running this expo, that's how she found me. But social media is wonderful. I'll tell you a quick war story. I do a lot of higher level sales recruiting, and I have a job that we just filled with a company called LexisNexis. LexisNexis is primarily an information technology company for the legal community. However, what a lot of people don't know is their bigger departments right now are in healthcare. Okay, they have seen the population. They know where all the money's going. The Obama administration has this electronic medical records where by 2014, every doctor's office and every hospital has to have all of our history in a computer. It can't be the charts on the wall anymore. And the Obama administration and Congress have put out $19 billion with a B rebates that healthcare companies can get if they automate, okay? So, not to bore you with that, but I have this guy interviewing tomorrow with LexisNexis down in Washington, D.C., and it's a new division for me. I deal with these divisions. I've never dealt with this division. My son, who's like 25, 26, a real computer guy, I said, look, my candidate's interviewing with this guy tomorrow I never heard of. Go find out what you can find out about him. In 5 minutes, he came back to me. Now I'm thinking he found his LinkedIn page, okay? He didn't even touch LinkedIn. He came back to me with a YouTube video where this guy was interviewed doing a television interview on the scope of healthcare and how it affects the federal government. It's like golden for my candidate to review. We sent him the YouTube clip last night. Then my son came back to me and said, here's his Facebook page. He's got a good-looking girlfriend. Look at her. You know, they went to the picnic on Sunday. They did this, they did that. You know, it's kind of scary what's out there. But if you're going to use that kind of stuff, and it was interesting because the candidate called me today. He's a very high-level executive, but even people in power sometimes don't realize that all of us have assets. The world's not always negative. He called me up this morning before I came here. He said, I saw everything you sent over, and I read the guy's Facebook page. He said, I'm not sure I should go on the interview. And I said, why? He said, the guy I'm meeting with used to be Jeb Bush's campaign manager, and he's a diehard Republican. He said, I'm a staunch Democrat. Is it even worth me going down there? I said, dude, you guys are in power. You know, the Democrats are running the show. Why would you not go down there? Why would you think that because you're going to interview with one guy, that's a negative? You're a sales rep for 25 years. You went to the University of Pennsylvania, you know. So everybody has that little bit of, you know, you start to question your ability in an interview. So the bottom line I'm trying to get at is there isn't much you can't find out on the internet. So be careful what you put out there, but utilize what's out there, especially if we're going to have interviews with certain people. Any questions about the social networking? Yes.
I just want to make one comment about that, for the people who might want to get their kids to help them if they don't want to do this.
Yes.
There's a website called Constant Contact.
Yep.
And you can, for I think either 30 or 60 days, get a free trial. And that's a good way to send out your, like, almost like an email, kind of graphic email to all your friends and your contacts, all your email addresses that you're looking for a job, rather than just a boring email.
Yep.
They have all kinds of templates, and it's pretty intuitive. It's not too difficult to figure out.
Right.
And then you know.
One I never heard of.
Send that out.
Awesome. Good. Well, on the bottom of this sheet are some of the ones that I like for people who are looking. If you look at under websites, it says teachparentstech.org. This was a website designed by a couple of engineer young bucks at Google who got tired of answering their parents and their aunts and uncles' questions on how do I do this, how do I do that, how do I do this. So they put on 52-minute movies. It's free. If you have a question you want to know about, go on to that website. If it pertains to a computer, you might be able to get an answer. Comingofage.org. It's actually a Philadelphia website started by ARP and United Way and Temple. There's opportunities on there. There are some jobs, not a lot, but there are some classes in there you can take for free. There's volunteer situations you can do for free. Volunteering and internships are really good if you have the time to get into certain companies.
That website also has some great links to other organizations.
Yep. So you're familiar with it?
Yeah. I have, yeah.
I give this talk all the time, and no one's ever said that. There's two of them. That's pretty good.
I'm sorry, what was that last one?
Great.
Coming of age.
I'm glad to hear that.
I'm sorry, what was that last one?
The last one, did you get the page I handed out? Comingofage.org. It's on the bottom there.
Can I get one of those
Surely.
handouts?
AARP. When I was 50, I spent $5 and got my art card. I just wanted it. My wife was mortified. One day I went to Warrington Movies and I pulled it out on the counter, and she just, unfortunately, she blogged about me for 3 days and how embarrassing I am. But AARP has a great magazine. There are some great websites on there. I mean, it is highly worth skipping the latte one day and sending your, I don't know, it might be more than $5 now, but that's, I highly recommend that.